Welcome back to everything you wanted to know about GenAI, but were afraid to ask. In this series, we do 5 minutes or less once a week for non technical folks who are not currently users of GenAI to just have a learning or learn how to do something useful with GenAI in that week. And my name is Claire Sullivan. These videos are released once a week. So please subscribe to the channel and let me know if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to see. This week, we are going to tackle the question of which platform should you use. As somebody who regularly uses GenAI, this is one of the first questions people ask me when they're getting started. Which one? And the second question they ask as a pretty quick follow on is, do I need to pay for it? Let me answer both of these for you. So, as of now, there are several options that you can use. You can use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, tons of others you've heard of. Here's the truth. It doesn't really matter which one you pick to start with. They all do roughly the same things. You type in questions or a request, they give you an answer. That's the basic function across all of them. And here's the best part is that they pretty much all have free versions. You don't need to pay anything to get started. ChatGPT has a free version, Claude has a free version, Gemini has a free version. You can learn this stuff without spending a dime. Over time, you might develop a favorite. Some people prefer ChatGPT because it's the most well-known. Some like Claude because they find the responses are more thoughtful. Some might like Gemini more because it connects to the Google apps. Copilot and Microsoft are really closely intertwined. But when you're learning, just pick one. Doesn't matter which one. Whichever one you happen to try first is just fine. Here's one thing that can be confusing, though, is that when you open any of these tools, you'll sometimes see options like GPT-4, GPT-5, Claude Sonnet 4.5, Gemini Pro. There's different models or versions of the Gen AI. Think of them kind of like different engines in a car. So some are more powerful, some are faster, some are older versions that are tried and true and still work fine. For your purposes as a beginner, you do not need to understand the differences between these models. Most of the times, the platforms will just pick one for you to use automatically. And as you use it more, you might notice there are some versions that give better answers or answers that you like better for certain tasks. But that's something that you explore later and not to worry about it right now. So now let's talk about this idea of the free version versus the paid version, because this is where people, start getting concerned about cost. The free versions are great for getting started, and they do all have limits. You can only ask a certain number of questions per day or per hour. You also, if you're on the pay or on the free version, you might find yourself in a lower priority queue. So the paid users might have, better access. The limits change with time on what the free version gets you. They're not always super clear. But basically, if you start using it a lot in one day, eventually you're going to hit these limits and the platform will tell you to wait to ask your next question, or it'll switch you to a slower version. And this tends to happen more during busy times of day where the paid users are going to get priority. Also, on the free platforms, there's some of the advanced features that are locked, like uploading lots of documents at once or some of the newest capabilities. But here's what matters is the free versions are more than enough to get started and to learn how to effectively use AI. And you can do everything I am going to be teaching in this series with free accounts. If I change that, if I show you something that's non-free, I will always call it out. The paid versions, they typically start around $20 a month. And they give you way more questions that you can ask per hour or per day. They give you priority access. So you don't have to wait during busy times. They give you access to the newest and most powerful models. So when do you know if you actually need to pay? If you're using it heavily every single day and hitting those message limits, that's a good indication that you might want to consider upgrading to a paid option. If you need it to be faster or you cannot wait during the busy times, that's another indication. Or if there are some of the advanced features for your specific work, that's another time that you might consider paying. But most people just learning AI don't need to pay. If you get a few months in and find that you're using it constantly and it's genuinely making your work easier, then you might consider paying because you do get access to faster speeds and higher priority. But don't start there. Don't let Don't let cost be a barrier to getting involved. So here's what I would do is I would just pick one, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, doesn't matter. Create a free account, use it for a month, and see if it's actually helping you or not. Just get used to the thing. If you're hitting those message limits and feeling frustrating, that's actually a good sign because it means you're finding something useful in this. And then you might consider paying. But let's start with free. And, at this point, anything that you're learning right now is going to be easily done on the free platform. So, hope that helps you get started. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.